Good morning and welcome to episode 2 of From the Teacher's Lounge. I'm Mr. Banky. Along with me today, Mr. Hoppy. Mr. Hoppy, how are you doing today?
Doing great.
Glad to hear.
I'm drinking my coffee. I had to get amped up for this breakfast food draft. So I'm still drinking some coffee here at 2 in the afternoon and keeping the caffeine going. So I'm ready to roll here today.
Get in the right mindset so you can not mess this draft up. Good idea. Well, we want to give you a shout out. It is draft day, and it's also a Thursday. So Mr. Hoppy and I are both participating in Throwback Thursday. You can see Mr. Hoppy there has got his Throwback Packers sweatshirt on, and I got my Throwback Packers jersey number 80. It's a throwback number 80. Who could it be? Well, we want you to take some guesses as an audience. The first guest to email me the correct Packer that was number 80, and I know who you guys are going to be thinking, and I'm going to give you a hint. It's not him. First answer that's correct will get a shout out on our next show. So it's draft day. I got my Bills hat on, even though they don't have a first round draft pick, but you never know with Brandon Beane, their GM, he might trade in to the first round and get someone in the first round tonight. You can only hope. So I'm happy Throwback Thursday, and today's episode we're talking about breakfast foods, and we're going to do our own draft of the best breakfast foods. So, Mr. Hoppy, I think it's only right that we talk about our credentials again, so that kids believe what we are saying is the truth, and that we know what we're talking about. So, do you have any credentials about breakfast foods you can talk about?
100%. I've been eating breakfast my whole life. I typically am a regular breakfast eater, going all the way back to high school. And I was a cross country runner, but I didn't quite stick to the diet you were supposed to. We'd have our morning practice, and I'd book it over to Quick Trip and grab the 2 for $3 Long John special. Have those every once in a while. I set an individual summer camp record at my summer camp for eating as a table of 8. We had 120 pancakes. I led the way with 18. So when it comes to breakfast, I don't mess around. I can put away pancakes. I can eliminate eggs. I got some good alliterations coming. So this is just the beginning. So I think that speaks for itself.
I tell you what, your credentials today sound a lot better than when you're talking about the NFL draft. So I'm a little bit worried. As far as my credentials, kids, you probably know that I used to work at Mom's Place, and I was not only a dishwasher there, but then became an elite buffet cook there. So I not only do I like to eat breakfast foods, I actually cook them and serve them, and I understand what people really enjoy for breakfast and what might be the top tier of the breakfast food. So I'm confident in what I know about breakfast foods based on the 5 years I worked at Mom's Place in high school and beyond. So those are my credentials.
Those are pretty solid. I cook my own breakfast, but I've never had to make it for other people. So that's.
And I'm kind of upset. I should have worn my old Mom's Place shirt for Throwback Thursday. Oh. Maybe next episode I'll throw it on. So you can see what the Mom's Place shirt used to look like. But so I think we're both pretty qualified for this conversation. Just so you know, as an audience, what's going to happen is we randomly selected who gets first pick. Actually, Mr. Hoppy didn't, go figure. He gets the first pick. And then it's going to be a snake-style draft after that, where he gets the first pick. I get pick 2 and 3. He gets 4 or 5. I get 6 and 7. And Mr. Hoppy will have the final pick. And we'll pick our top 4 each breakfast foods, and have a little bit to say about each one. Mr. Hoppy, did I miss anything?
No, that sounds good. I got the draft board all pulled up. There will be a poll afterwards for you to vote on who won. Again, we haven't drafted yet, but I'm feeling already pretty confident about my ability to win one of these drafts. So we'll have to see how it plays out here. But you ready for me to get started? What's that? Sorry.
Best of luck to you.
Oh yeah.
You'll do it.
Do you want me to start here, leading off the way?
Yeah, you go ahead when you're ready. You're on the clock.
All right. Well, this was an easy choice. Number 1 overall pick. When you talk about breakfast foods, there is a staple that you can prepare in so many different ways that it's hard to just not take it as the number 1 pick. And this isn't going to come to a shock to you. I kind of spoiled this pick. There's been reports coming out from Adam Schefter all week, and he's been reporting that things might get cracking early on in the draft. And so the number one overall pick, I'm going to plug it in here on the slides. We're going with eggs. We're going scrambled, over easy. I mean, it poached, whatever you prefer, scrambled, omelets. I mean, it's unlimited. I mean, there's so many options there. So that's all I got for my first overall pick.
That, you know what, that comes to a shock to me. I was not expecting it to be eggs. I'm surprised that you took it so high up, but all right.
Oh,
So I got 2 picks.
yep.
When I'm looking at my big board here, I got to go with one that's a staple for me, and that's the breakfast donut. For those, students, past students of mine, especially when I was in 8th grade ELA, I had my share of donuts through the times there. Those students out there that have taken driver's ed and have been on a drive 6 with me in the morning, a Hildy's donut, an Econo donut. Is there anyone out there that won't eat one of those? You got the little bit of sweet, you got the filling, perfect breakfast food to start out your day. So that's why I took donut at number 2.
If I can chime in here quick,
Let's hear what you have to say.
I didn't know if I should put on donut or donuts with an S. I did put an S on there, and I did say because it needs an S because we all know. I should probably add a Mister here. Mr. Benke likes to have more than one. Is that accurate?
It depends on what one. It depends on the kind.
True.
If I'm eating little donut holes, yeah, I'm gonna eat more than one.
Here, I'll fix this.
An Econo donut, maybe 2.
Might need an S.
That's fair. It depends on the day of the week.
Now, yeah, I'm a big donut guy myself. I have no criticisms of that pick. Again, I think you might be a little early. I think donuts, you might be overvaluing a little bit, but still a great breakfast food. So,
all right, donuts is off the board.
Yep.
All right, this is hard because now I gotta pick something. Otherwise, you're gonna steal it with pick 4 or 5.
I was expecting donuts to go later, so I'm already excited for my picks 4 and 5. I'm getting a steal.
Okay. All right. Well, this is one that is probably a staple for most people. And when you talk about a food, you can't argue about it being bad, and you just say the name of it, and people want it. It's got to be bacon.
Oh,
it's got to be bacon.
I thought bacon was going to make it.
Number 1 surprised me. Does anything go bad with bacon? No. Can you possibly fry up a pound of bacon without eating it all? No. Do you eat 3 slices of bacon before the rest are done? Yes. It's just something that if it's not even on your board, I don't know if you know breakfast foods. It's definitely a top tier breakfast food. Might be considered number 1 in some people's minds.
Yeah, no, I honestly thought that bacon might make it around the turn for me. Unfortunately, it didn't. I think that's a good pick. I see you're playing some games there by drafting donut number 2 and then trying to give me this feeling that bacon might slip around the corner to me here for number 3. But it's a good pick. You're up. You got a strong start to the draft, but that's fine. I'm gonna hit back though with pick number 4. With another. Again, I like a little bit of flexibility in my breakfast. Kind of like what I said, eggs. You can prepare eggs in a million different ways. You got omelet, scrambled, poached. So number 4, the obvious pick has to be pancakes. I mean, pancakes, flapjacks. You can go. That's the same word. I know it's the same word.
How else can you prepare pancakes, Mr. Hoppy?
How else can you prepare pancakes?
Yeah.
Chocolate chip, strawberries, fruit.
Oh, okay.
It's all about the accessories. You throw some accessories on there, maybe a dollop of whipped cream. I mean, you got a lot of flexibility there, and
I hear what you're saying.
Staple of the breakfast. Again, I did have a toss up here between French toast and pancakes at this pick, and unfortunately for number 5, I can't go with French toast because I'm a big salt versus sweet guy, and
they're kind of cousins. You don't want to draft them next to each other.
Exactly. Right? So the next thing that I need is something that's going to go well, like as a good side, like a nice additional side that comes up there. And this is probably besides eggs, my most looked forward to breakfast item, and that is hash browns.
Oh,
I love.
That was high on my board.
You cannot go wrong with hash browns. You fry them up, get a little cheese and onion in there, maybe.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh.
Do you ever put ketchup on your hash browns?
Never.
Ooh, worth a try.
It covers. I like the buttery and salty taste of it, and sometimes the ketchup overpowers the hash brown flavor. I'm more of a. Sometimes I'll sprinkle a little hot sauce on there on my hash browns and eggs, but yeah, I'm going to take hash browns there, and I feel pretty confident about that answer.
That was well played, Mr. Hoppy.
You're up here with pick number 6.
6 and 7. Oh man! All right, this is tough because now I gotta finish strong here. I have 3 left, so I got to pick 2 out of my next 3, and I just did bacon, like you said, sweet and or salty and sweet. Maybe I'll go with something sweet, and I'll finish with something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna try to one up your pancakes, Mr. Hoppy. I'm not saying pancakes are bad.
Yep.
But I also at times you need to have a fancy breakfast.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna choose the fancy pancake. Crepes.
Crepes? Crepes. What a bad pick that is.
No, you want to say it, you can say everything, the same thing about pancakes you can say for crepes.
Kids are having to Google what crepes are right now.
You can put different toppings on them. You can fill them different ways. There's a Seinfeld episode about crepes. Beethoven can have his favorite fruit on crepes, and that would be bananas.
Nobody likes bananas in their crepe.
Oh, yes, they do. It's healthy. It's filling. You can eat more crepes than you can pancakes.
You just threw away a perfectly great start to your draft.
No, you'll be surprised. Students that don't think crepes are good haven't had them, and I'm going to win over the audience that have had crepes before. I mean, sorry, eggs at number 1. I think they're saying crepes at 6. That's a fair pick.
Eggs at number 1 is a bad pick? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if you think crepes at 6, it's sometimes in the draft when something falls to you, you just got to pick it. That's why crepes at 6.
Eggs and crepes aren't even in the same division. We're talking like UW-Madison versus, let's see, Wisconsin Lutheran.
Oh, you don't go there. Listen, they are part of NAC, the best D3 athletic conference in Wisconsin.
Sorry, I blew up there. You got number 7.
Enough of this. Okay, sorry. Oh man. Okay, so I got two left to pick, or I got 1 left, but I have 2 on my board. Which one's going to win the audience back over now that you persuaded them that crepes was a bad pick?
I don't think I had to do much persuasion.
You'll be surprised. What
are you going to draft? Oatmeal with your last pick?
As much as I want to, because that's what I have every morning. But no, I'm not going to. I'm going to have to go. I'm going to do an honorable mention after you pick number 8, but I'm going to go number 7, steak.
Wow.
Yep. You want to say, you think eggs is number 1. People don't order eggs and steak. They order steak and eggs because steak is what they want. And I tell you what, if you've never gone out to a supper club, and I know in Wisconsin people go to supper clubs, and you have a little bit of leftover steak that you take home in a to-go box, you better bet that next morning you're frying that steak up for breakfast, and that's going to be the best breakfast you had all week. So that's why I take number 7. It's got to be steak.
Steak's a left field choice, but I like it. I mean, it's a little bit, it's you think of it as a dinner food, but steak and eggs is a pretty legitimate thing here. So yeah, I'd say it's okay. I think you're going to lose over some of the group here with some of these wild picks that we're going with crepes and steak here down the stretch. I mean, donuts and bacon, those were hyped up picks. People were looking for those, but crepes and steak.
crepes is fancy. Steak is something everyone likes, just like bacon. I tell you what, I'm pretty happy with my 4 picks right now.
I'm a traditionalist. For the last pick here, and this, I know this person's just sitting by their phone right now waiting for the call. They're like, how have I not gotten picked yet? And I know these foods don't have feelings, but I like to imagine right now that this breakfast dish has been waiting for the call the whole time. And it's very similar to my pancakes pick. And you might be thinking, French toast, oui. You might be going that route. But instead, this is something that we've gotten into recently in the Hoppy household. We got a special appliance for this. And we're going to wrap up with our final pick of waffles. Waffles, again, they're just different enough from pancakes in terms of they're not as soggy. They hold their texture a little bit better. They've got little pockets of syrup that you can take in there. You can, again, put whatever toppings you want. You got Belgian waffles you can load up to. You can get the fruit on there. You can get the sweet on there, the chocolate. I mean, it's hard to pass up. And I felt bad that waffle had to wait this long to hear back.
I feel bad that waffle got picked.
Crepes got picked.
Crepes are fancy. They're nice. You can eat a lot of them. Half a waffle, you're full.
Don't lie to the people here, Mr. Banky.
I don't want something that I can pop in the toaster.
I told you I got a waffle maker like the ones at hotels.
You know, people are out there buying the frozen ones. That's not doing justice.
You're really digging yourself a hole.
You can't buy frozen crepes. That's for sure.
1 second. Going to Google here real quick. Frozen crepes.
Mr. Hop, while you're trying to find if you can buy frozen crepes, are you okay if I just give a quick shout out to an honorable mention that I wanted to pick?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's go through some of these.
Other one that I really wanted to, but I also hesitated because I think you would argue this one with me.
Yep.
Because it's technically 2 things: biscuits and gravy.
Ooh, I would have accepted that. That would have been all right.
Yeah, so biscuits and gravy, again, it's one that at least has to be mentioned that was considered to be picked. Waffles.
If you wanted to see my left field pick, I almost went with this as a last ditch effort, but cold pizza.
That's fair.
That's a good, like, you wake up and you're like, oh, I had pizza last night for supper, but cold pizza is a little bit different. I can justify having a little bit of cold pizza when I wake up this morning. So I almost threw that in as my 8 pick as kind of a left field option, but I went a little bit more traditional.
Yeah, that was, you know what, I almost think you would have won more people over with cold pizza.
I know I didn't want to pander, though, and I didn't want to be accused of kind of crossing the line there with a little bit of a weird breakfast food.
I wouldn't have done it.
So we got our lineup here. I'm going to update our poll results here, and this will be posted with the video. So I've got eggs, pancakes, hash browns, and waffles. I mean, that is a staple breakfast right there. I mean, that is eggs, pancakes, hash browns, and waffles. I mean, that, if I went to a breakfast restaurant right now.
Is this just going to be a simple who had the better draft?
Yeah, that was my thought, at least.
Yeah, no, I like that. Do you want to throw a second question on that we can hear from our audience what their favorite breakfast food, what would they take at number 1?
Yeah, how about this? In our next episode, I think you can comment on these posts on the classroom page. So in the comment area below for each of our classroom pages, leave your breakfast food that we left out.
Yeah, I like that breakfast food that was left out.
And then we can talk about them on our next week episode.
Mm-hmm. I'll be curious.
Yeah. Well, I'm not curious who's going to win this because crepes and steak, you dug yourself a hole.
What's a steak? I'm going to win over people. Steak over waffles. Hey, audience, right now, you would answer just like that. Would you rather have steak or waffles for breakfast? I know what I would say.
Waffles.
Oh.
Now, you also probably upset the student fan base that eats Eggo waffles every morning, too, by saying that. I mean, when I was in high school, that was a perfect morning breakfast when you're in a rush.
You're right. It's you can eat it. We're just saying the best. And audience out there, once you want some authentic food, if you're trying to get the best breakfast, crepes is very authentic. And I just think they'll see it that way. I'm confident in that.
Now, one of my favorite things when I was a kid and ate my waffles was I'd put the butter on thick, and every once in a while you'd get just a pocket of, you get like a little square of butter on that waffle, a little syrup on there. I mean, it was probably the least healthy thing I ever ate in my life, but oh, that's good stuff.
Mr. Hoppy, you're losing the population that thinks it's syrup and not syrup. So you just better be careful.
We're not even going to start this. We're not even going to start this because, yeah, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it there. All right, should we wrap this thing up?
If you're a syrup person, just remember Mr. Hoppy was calling it syrup.
Syrup or bust. All right. Should we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I think so. You got everything ready to be sent out for our audience?
Yep, everything should be good.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning into episode 2. Last thoughts?
Oh, I'm looking forward to the draft tonight, even though they're not seeing this till Friday. But first round of the draft, I'm excited for all of my predictions to be proven out as correct.
Yeah, well, I'm sure mine will be. So thanks for tuning in to episode 2. Hopefully you saw that my draft picks were correct. Mr. Hoppy was wrong. I hope you consider voting on whose draft was better. Let other people know about from the Teachers Lounge so that they can tune in and watch this as well. And with that, we hope you have a great weekend and tune in next week.
Syrup.